Welcome to Alley Chats. My name's Rob, and today I have a special guest. I have Chantel Jones. Hi, Chantel. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
So I'm Chantel, and I'm a gamer. Predominantly Dungeons and Dragons, but I do other games like Dungeon Crawl Classic and Castles and Crusades. I have done some dabbling in L5R and Shadowrun.
So I see you create games. Are you typically a dungeon master, or do you like to write adventures and be a player most of the time? What's your stance on that?
I am a dungeon master most of the time. I do enjoy playing, but there seems to be a higher demand for dungeon masters than there are players right now.
And you get to play your games a lot?
Every adventure I DM for is something I've written, something I'm currently working on, or something I'm trying to piece together. For example, right now I am running a game for people on Discord just because nobody can get out. That is a Ravnica adventure I'm working on, and we're just having fun with that.
Cool. So people can play remotely with you.
We can.
Now they can buy your games as well, right?
Yeah, they can go to DriveThruRPG.com and search Chantel Jones, or there is one of my adventures, The King's Castle, can be found on Lulu.com.
And why don't you tell us about your games? Like, pick one and break it down a little bit.
Okay, so everything right now that is centered on Dungeons and Dragons is we'll call it an adventure path, because that seems to be what everybody understands with Pathfinder and stuff. Right now, I have the King's Castle and the Temple of Zeus, which are part of the Final Dream adventure. The first one, the King's Castle, you show up in Dragon Valley, and your goal is to figure out what happened to the king and try and restore him back to power.
Okay, and these other games that you have, like Cyclops Island and the Gallery, those are standalone adventures, or are those part of this Final Dream?
No, it's, the Cyclops Island is a 3.5 adventure that is a standalone adventure, but it also has other things that it will go with that are in the pipeline. For example, the next adventure in that series is 40 Days and 40 Nights. It's kind of what happens after you leave the island.
Oh, cool. All right. So do you have a Patreon or anything like that?
I do have a Patreon.
Okay. How does that work?
So at patreon.com, you just search The Swamp, and the levels we have are the basic thank you. I've got people that draw thank you cards, and we mail those out to you. And then other options are you can get the Patreon adventure every month. In May, there's actually going to be 2 because I can't get to the store to get everything set up. But in May, April, you're going to get an adventure for Teenagers from Outer Space. And I haven't decided what the other one is. And then there are other options that you can play remotely. I'll run an adventure for you over Roll20 or Skype or however you want to do it. And then when we can all go outside again, there is an option that me and someone I work with will come to your game store and play with you and your group.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So have you ever done crowdfunding with any of your games?
I have not. I don't think my games right now are at a stage where I could offer more rewards than just here's a physical copy of the book.
Okay. Do you ever take commissions? Like, do you ever write these like tailored to certain groups or to certain adventures?
I have never thought about doing commissions like that, but sometimes on Patreon I will ask what kind of adventure you want. I figure you're paying for it. You should have some say.
Yeah, right. So, okay, Chantel, imagine this is your dream con. Who would you be most excited to meet?
Oh, man. Well, my story kind of begins with I got into gaming because my dad was in Tracy Hickman's group. So I don't know, maybe Luke Gygax would be the person I want to meet.
That would be the big one, huh?
Yeah.
But you've never had an opportunity, obviously. What would you talk about with him?
I don't know. I think there seems to be a lot of streaming happening right now. And I don't know, maybe that would be my line of questioning if this was like what his dad had envisioned when he went to Hollywood, just everybody watching D&D games, or if it would be more along the lines of the cartoon and the movies, things like that.
So what's your preference, the movies or the cartoon?
I like the cartoon better.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. The movies were a little bit cheesy.
Yeah. Joe Manganiello, I'm sure I'm butchering that name. He's a huge D&D guy. And from what I understand, he has really been pushing to get a D&D movie made. So, we're not talking, one with one of the Wayans brothers like we had last time. We're talking something, he's looking for something that's a little more serious, a little more big budget. Does that sound cool? Or are you still like, yeah, just why don't you reboot that cartoon and bring it back?
Oh, that's a tough choice. I don't remember it ever being finished. So let's finish the cartoon.
Yeah, I don't think it was finished either. I thought that it got into that last season and they ended it, but it was never, like, the adventure was never completed.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't think they ever got home.
So what do you think of all the streaming stuff and the, there's Roll20 where you can play virtually, but then there's also things like all the D&D home games and things. What do you think of that? And do you like the tabletop version? I'm not talking the dice one, but there's like board games for D&D.
I haven't seen any streams where they do the board games like Escape Waterdeep or Castle Ravenloft. But I'm all for watching. I would rather watch people like Rob and Molly and Martha play a game than say Critical Role. There's just something more exciting about a home group playing than just a bunch of famous people. Yeah,
cool. I agree. I like the homebrew version myself.
Yeah.
What do you think of the video game aspect?
I don't know. I liked Baldur's Gate back in the day, and I'm excited for Baldur's Gate 3, but my biggest thing with tabletop versus video games is that the video game is only limited to what the designers make. Like the game is limited in what you can do, but the tabletop is only limited to your imagination.
Sure. There are going to be limitations because you have to code everything. But if you play a game like, have you ever played Skyrim?
I played Oblivion Ring, and that was a lot of fun until I couldn't get cured of vampirism.
With so many cons that are canceling right now and postponing, what do you think is the best way to support you and to support other creators?
I think the best way to support us is just look what's out there. Go to Twitter and search game companies or look at what your friends are doing. I know people share stuff all the time on Facebook, like, hey, I found this really cool adventure by Shade Concepts. Go check it out. Or just go browse DriveThruRPG. There's a lot on DriveThruRPG that it's not even just D&D. I know one of their featured games right now is L5R, and I don't even remember the other ones, but they do have L5R on their featured list. And that's a pretty fun game if you like samurais and ninjas.
And who doesn't, right?
Right.
So DriveThruRPG is where people can check out your work. I'll make sure I put that in the show notes. Do you have like a host page there, or is it just they look up your name and your games will pop up?
You just search my name and the games will pop up.
Okay, so it's not like where there's like a provider page for your company.
No.
Okay. And how do people get in touch with you?
So I have a Twitter account at theswamp2471301. And that's primary where I am. Or you can just search The Swamp on Facebook. But I'm probably going to answer more if they contact me via Twitter.
Great. And another question, are there any other projects or products that you're involved with?
Oh, I have so many projects that I'm trying to get done. I've got I've got a project for 5e, a project for 1e, and like I mentioned before, 40 Days and 40 Nights is the next 3.5 adventure I'm working on.
All right. Chantel, thank you so much for your time. And everybody, if you're a gamer, definitely check out Chantel's stuff. I know I've played a little bit of it because I picked up the Cyclops Island, and it was really cool. It's definitely worth your time. It's definitely worth checking out what Chantel has. So thanks again, Chantel.
Yeah, thank you.
You can find Alley Chats on Facebook by searching for @AlleyChats. You can also visit us at our webpage, smgpods.com/alleychats, for links to all our episodes and other cool stuff. One easy way to support our show is to rate and review Alley Chats wherever you listen to your podcasts. Those ratings really help us out and help others find our show as well. Alley Chats is produced and edited by Rob Southgate for Southgate Media Group. Be sure to subscribe to Alley Chats because you definitely don't want to miss an episode. Thanks again to our affiliate sponsors, Hunt-A-Killer and Tweaked Audio. Links to them are on our webpage and in the show notes. This wouldn't be possible without them. Our theme song is by Benny and the No Goods. Check out their awesome music at bennyandthenogoods.bandcamp.com. If you're an artist or writer or creative type that would have a table at an artist alley and would like to be on Alley Chats, message us through the Facebook page or email us directly at southgatemediagroup@gmail.com and we'll set up an interview. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with another fantastic show.